Men, let's talk about the poser, the mask we wear to hide our wounds, fears, and insecurities. Every man has one, even if we don't always recognize it. It's that image we project to seem strong, successful, or just acceptable. But deep down, it's not who we truly are. The poser is something we've all built over time, a response to life's pressures, expectations, and wounds. It feels like it protects us, but in reality, it keeps us from living fully. It isolates us from real connection with others, with ourselves, and with God. The poser starts forming early in life. Maybe it began when someone told us to man up or stop crying, teaching us that showing emotion was weakness. Maybe it was the critical voice of a parent or a coach, making us feel we'd never been good enough unless we performed perfectly. Or maybe it was the silence of an absent father, leaving us to figure out what it means to be a man on our own. Over time, these moments teach us to put on a front, to act tough, smart, more accomplished than we feel. We begin to project an image of strength and control even when we're unsure or struggling inside. At first, the poser seems to work. We've got the nods of approval, the pat on the back, the acceptance we crave, but it comes at a cost. The more we rely on the poser, the more disconnected we become from our true selves. We start to feel like imposters, like the image we're projecting isn't really us, and deep down, we know it. We know we're hiding, we know we're holding back the parts of us that feel scared, uncertain, or vulnerable. The poser doesn't just affect us, it affects our relationships. When we're living behind a mask, it's impossible to let others see the real us. We can't form deep, authentic connections because we're afraid to be honest about who we are. We worry that if people knew the truth, our weakness, our doubts, our failures, they'd reject us, so we keep up the act, even with the people closest to us. But over time, the loneliness and isolation grow. We end up longing for connection, but the poser keeps it just out of reach. And perhaps the most damaging effect of the poser is what it does to our relationship with God. God doesn't want the mask, He wants the real us, messy, broken, imperfect. He wants us to come to Him honestly, to bring our fears, our wounds, and our hopes and aspirations. That's where healing begins. That's where freedom starts. Stepping out from behind the poser isn't easy. It takes courage to admit we've been hiding, to let go of the fears that keep us clinging on to the mask. But it's worth it. When we let go of the poser, we begin to experience authentic connection with God, with others, and with ourselves. We discover that we don't have all it takes, but we don't have to have it all together to be loved. We don't have to perform to be accepted. Our value doesn't come from what we do or how we appear. It comes from who we are as men created and loved by our perfect Father. So let me challenge you. Take a hard look at your life. Where are you still putting on the poser? Where are you afraid to let people see the real you? And what would it look like to step out from behind the mask? It's not about tearing yourself down. It's about stepping into the freedom of being exactly who you were created to be. The poser feels like it protects you, but it's holding you back. True strength isn't found in the mask. It's found in honesty and vulnerability. The world doesn't need the poser. It needs you, the real you. Drop the mask and live fully. The freedom you long for is waiting.